what's up? How are you? If I'm sweaty in this video, please don't mind because I had to unplug my AC to plug in my ring light. So don't say I don't make any sacrifices. Hi, you're gonna get your moment. Don't worry. I'm here today to do two things. One is introduce you to Mango, who is my new kitten. Say hi. You have to say hi. It's Mango. Hi, Mango. Yes, you good girl. We have had Mango for 1 week. She's an angel. She's very sweet. So if you hear various kitten noises in the background, that's Mango. The second thing that I'm doing today is my spring wrap up. It is May 31st. I was supposed to upload today, but I did not have time to film this weekend because I kept picking up shifts. I'm broke. I'm really broke. It's really sad. But it's Tuesday. I have the day off. And I'm here to do my spring wrap up. And I'm really excited because there's some really, really good books in here that I can't wait to talk about. So the first book I read was on my phone. I read Murder Most Actual by Alexis Hall. This is my second Alexis Hall book. I really like the way he writes. This was like a cozy mystery vibe. We follow Hannah and Liza. Liza is our narrator. And they are going on like a retreat weekend vacation to try and like save their marriage because it's not going so hot. They're at a like super luxury like converted castle hotel in Scotland, and then boom, people start dying. And Liza makes her living because she hosts a true crime podcast. So this is like way up her alley. She wants to be the detective. She wants to solve the murders. And her wife is like, hey babe, like please don't die, okay? Okay. This was just super fun. I'm a huge fan of Alexis Hall. I really like his writing. I loved Boyfriend Material. Really like the way that his writing feels like real people, like the characters feel like people. My glasses are dirty. I literally just cleaned them. I didn't write very much about it in my journal. Yeah, I don't know. It was cool. It was fun to read. I started this book in February at the Marina and the Diamond show I went to because I got there super early. I didn't have anything to do while I was waiting for the opener to start, so I started reading this book and it was fun and I liked it. So yes, I gave this book 4 stars, and I thought there were 2 flaws with this book. One was that it was pretty repetitive because it would just be like, there's a murder. Oh no. Uh-oh, who's the murderer? Babe, please don't try and get the murderer. But there's another murder. It was like the cycle. But I'm not overly familiar with cozy mysteries, so like that could just be how all cozies operate, and I just don't really know what's going on. The other thing is that there are like 4 characters in this book that are, in my mind, are exactly the same person. It was just hard to differentiate between some of the characters because they were all like had these super British fucking fancy names. I got this from NetGalley, but it's not an ARC. It's just like I think it's just ebook only. Mango! The next book I read was this is one of my best books I've read so far this year. Iron Widow by I don't know if I'm gonna get this right, but I'm gonna try really hard. Zirin J. Zhao. I'm pretty sure. This book is fucking amazing. This book is amazing. I read this because Kay texted me and they were like, hey, I just finished this book. You need to read this fucking book. And I was like, say less. This is a super high sci-fi like kind of book. It's so good, but it's very confusing. But you just have to power through the confusion. We're in China and there's this giant war happening. And it's kind of like a Power Ranger situation where they're fighting with like robots. The pilots of the robots are famously all men, and they use women for their power. Mango, do not unplug this ring light. I swear to God. And most of the time, women don't make it out of the battle. Usually they die in battle because the men are using all of their brain power, essentially. It's really hard to explain, guys. Like, this book is fucking crazy. Like, I still don't really understand what was happening, but I don't give a fuck because The main character of this book, Zetienne, is so fucking cool. She's amazing. She's such a badass. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna go, like, be one of these women because I want to kill the guy who killed my sister. This is in the synopsis, so it's not a spoiler. So she's like, yeah, I want to go kill this guy. So she kills him, but not in, like, a stabby way. She kills him because she gets chosen as his partner, but he dies instead of her. Because she has such big brain power that she's more powerful than the pilot. She can't be a pilot because she's a girl and there's sexism and shit. But she, like, gets paired with this guy who's a pilot, but he's super controversial because he's a prisoner. It's very like Hunger Games, Katniss and Peeta, where they start doing all this training together and she kind of resents him. And we have Zetienne's best friend, who's also my best friend, Iji. Fucking love him. I love Iji. He's my favorite. He's like super smart, genius. He's totally in love with her. And it is very Hunger Games, actually. It's very Hunger Games. But it's not a love triangle, baby. It's not a love triangle. This book is polyamorous and it's fucking so cool. Like, I love this book so much. And the only reason it didn't get 5 stars is because I never figured out what the fuck was going on with, like, the robots and shit. Like, it was just, like, so super confusing. But I didn't really care because I loved all the characters. But there was never a point where it really clicked for me. I didn't really understand what was happening. But yeah, give this book a shot. It is so fucking good. And there is a sequel coming out. I'm gonna scream and cry and throw up when I get it. And I can't wait. There are 2 books that I really recommend that I read this spring. And this is the first one. This book is fucking awesome. This next book that I read. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This fucking book. I got an arc of Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. Oh my god. When you see this video, it comes out next Tuesday, June 7th. Alright? And everyone needs to buy it and read it. I don't give a fuck. This book is so good. Well, okay, not everyone, because it has, like, a very long list of trigger warnings. But look at all this stuff I wrote in my journal. I never write all this stuff. Like, I never have this many thoughts. I love this fucking book. We're following Benji. He's trans, he's on the run, he's running from a cult. The cult just killed his dad. I'm just gonna read this first paragraph of the synopsis because it explains it way better than I can. Benji is on the run from the cult that raised him, the fundamentalist sect that unleashed Armageddon and decimated the world's population. Desperately, he searches for a place where the cult can't get their hands on him, or more importantly, on the bioweapon they infected him with. Oh my fucking god! It's so good. When cornered by monsters born from the destruction, Benji is rescued by a group of teens from the local Atchison LGBTQ+ center, affectionately known as the ALC. The ALC's leader, Nick, is gorgeous, autistic, and a deadly shot, and he knows Benji's darkest secret. The cult's bioweapon is mutating him into a monster, deadly enough to wipe humanity from the earth once and for all. It is so fucking cool, guys. This book is so good. It's so cool and unlike anything else I've ever read, and I'm obsessed with it. Still, Nick offers Benji shelter among his ragtag group of queer teens as long as Benji can control the monster and use its power to defend the ALC. Eager to belong, Benji accepts Nick's terms until he discovers the ALC's mysterious leader has a hidden agenda and more than a few secrets of his own. Let me see what I wrote down without spoiling it. This immediately grabbed my attention from page 1. Page 1. I remember laying here, starting it. I read it over spring break. Laying here, starting it, being like, gagged, gooped. I wrote, this book doesn't come out for 3 more months. I don't know how I'm supposed to keep my mouth shut. Benji and Nick are my best friends. It's true. How the fuck did this book get classified as YA? It's the goriest thing I've ever read. I don't understand how this is a YA book, but like fucking power to you, okay? but it is the goriest shit I've ever read. It's fucking crazy. When the book is so good, you can't decide if you want to finish it immediately or never finish it so it will last forever. That's the best feeling. Let me read you my favorite quote that I wrote down from this book. When I read this, I literally lost my fucking marbles. This is it's so real. So all of the chapters open with like a quote either from like a journal entry from like when the cult took over, or like a Bible verse or something like that, right? This one says, oh my god, I'm gonna post the screenshot too so you can get like the full effect. Do you believe in God? I do. Please stop. There's so much blood. I am so excited to have this book in my hands. I ordered the June Obsidian Moon Crate box with like the special edition of this book in it. I cannot fucking wait. I love this book. I gave this book 5 stars, and this is the second book in this video that I really, really want you guys to read. I'm gonna read my NetGalley review. Oh my god. Where do I even start? This book had me from the very first chapter. I was immediately intrigued, and it never lost me. I knew about a third of the way through that this would be a new favorite of mine. We're following Benji, a 16-year-old trans boy, as he escapes from a religious cult that has taken over the world, and as he slowly transforms into a monster. He finds solace in a group of teenagers who were in the local LGBT center when the world ended. It's absolutely glorious. I loved absolutely everything about this book. It was complex but intriguing, the characters were interesting and fleshed out, and watching Benji go through his entire journey was so compelling. There's a lot of contrasting plot points that adds a lovely depth to this story. This is an apocalypse story done in a whole new way. I'm so glad I got the opportunity to read this book. I am floored, flabbergasted, gooped, gagged, and obsessed. This book is so good. It's fucking insane. It's amazing. But it's also extremely, like, very like off of the game level of trauma and trigger warnings. I can't wait to read it again. Oh my god, I'm so excited. All right, let me shut up. What did I read next? I read Anxious People by Frederick Bachmann. This is another book that Kay actually really liked, and I brought it to school with me and I picked it up. I think that this was also my 22 books for 2022. I liked this. It was pretty good. The whole time I was reading this book, I was like, okay. And then I read the last 10 pages and was crying. So like, it's very that. This book is about a bunch of people who get taken hostage at a real estate showing. They get taken hostage by a bank robber who tried to rob the bank across the street. We flash back and forth between police interviews with the hostages and like them in the hostage situation, and also like some backstory with the characters or the hostages. Fun read. It definitely all comes together in the end, and that's very much what makes it such a powerful story, is the ending and how everything laces together. This is the first ever Frederick Bachmann book I've ever read, and I liked it. And I bought A Man Called Ova? I bought that one, and I'll read it at some point. I gave Anxious People 4 stars. Oh, okay, so next I got an arc of Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner. I think I was reading this in my vlog that I posted. This is affectionately known as the MILF book. This book is about a college student who, over a family weekend, hooks up with a woman, and then she finds out that woman is her best friend's mom. So yeah, awkward. The thing about Mistakes Were Made is that it's inherently ridiculous, right? Because like, hello. It was fine. I mean, it wasn't groundbreaking. It's like an inherently ridiculous plot, right? Because obviously there's an age gap, there's the best friend's mom thing, but like, as long as you let it take you where it wants to take you, you can have fun with it, you know? Also, there's a lot of spice. There's a lot of spice in this book. Tension, pining, an oblivious main character, satisfying ending. My biggest concern with the book was how they were gonna like deal with Parker, which is the love interest's daughter, and Cassie's best friend, and Erin, who's the love interest. And I think it was a satisfying ending. I don't want to spoil it, but I was like, all right, I can live with that. Not groundbreaking, but it was still fun. I liked reading it. The pitch is honestly the best part of this book. Like, hello, the MILF book? Like, that had me. I wanted to read it. I gave this 3.25 stars. I think this is actually my lowest rated book in this. I don't have a lot to say about it, honestly. It's pretty much exactly what you would expect. But yeah, still fun. I enjoyed it. The next book that I read was Gallant by Ve Schwab. I love Ve Schwab. She's one of my favorite authors. I'm obsessed with everything they write. I didn't give 5 stars to all of the books in the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy, but I did give 5 stars to A Gathering of Shadows, and I loved the other ones. And I did give 5 stars to Vicious and Vengeful. Gallant is their newest release. Super interesting premise. We're following Olivia, who has grown up in like an orphanage sort of deal, and then suddenly her uncle, she gets a letter from her uncle to come to her family's estate, Gallant. But she gets there, and she's like, her uncle's been dead for like a year, and no one knows where this fucking letter came from. So she gets there, and basically in true V.E. Schwab fashion, there's some supernatural stuff going on. There's some ghost stuff. This was fun. Honestly, like, it's definitely my least favorite V.E. Schwab that I've read, but it was still, like, really interesting and enjoyable to read. The other thing about this book is that I read this. I think I picked this up like the day after I finished Our Flag Means Death for the first time. So I was kind of going crazy. I was kind of losing my mind, perhaps. It was all I could think about. It's still all I can think about. But at that moment, because I had just finished it, I was like, I'm never getting over this. So I like picked up this book because I really wanted to read it. And I was trying to like throw myself into it. So that could have very well had an impact on how I was feeling. Oh, also this edition is signed. I think I showed this in my haul, but yes. Fun, supernatural. It's V. Schwab, so the writing's amazing. I gave this 4 stars. I kind of tried to establish a pattern at this point where I would read a physical book and then I would read a book on my phone. And lots of the time, the book on my phone that I would read would be an arc, because I've been requesting a lot of arcs lately. So the next book I read was Henry Hamlet's Heart by Rhiannon and Wilde. This is already out in Australia. It comes out in the United States on October 18th. And I liked this book a lot. It was just like a very fun, like, throwback almost into like the queer young adult books that I like really sparked my love for reading and queer literature. Our main character is Henry Hamlet. He doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. He has his best friend who is named after a Beatle. I remember being annoyed because I hate the Beatles. What's his name? Lennon? Lennon. His name is Lennon. The best friend is named Lennon. They've been best friends for years. They kiss at a party, and then Henry's like, oh, fuck. Hold on. That's like my favorite kind of YA romance, where they've been friends for years and then something happens and one of them is like, hold up. I love that brand of romance. I just think it's so fun. It was very much like a great return to like my roots. That's what I wrote. Oh, also it's set in like 2008, so everyone like has flip phones and like listens to emo music. There was a Fall Out Boy reference in like the first chapter and I was immediately into it. I love Fall Out Boy. I read this in 3 days. Like, it was a really quick and fun read, and it made me feel very nostalgic for like all of the sort of books that I used to love. If you're just looking for something that's super like reminiscent of like your younger years, if you're anything like me, then like this is a good one, you know? I gave this 4 stars. Next, I spent like way too fucking long reading Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I was reading this for like 3 weeks and it made me insane. I know I'm way behind on this. The movie came out years ago. I've never seen the movie. I sort of knew what happened in this book, but like not really. This is kind of like a classic thriller. This book starts with Nick Dunn, his wife, goes missing. And basically everyone thinks that he killed his wife. I don't know, like, what about this book is a spoiler and what isn't, because I think I got spoiled from this book, but I thought it was just basic knowledge. Look, I feel like this is pretty, like, self-explanatory. In the first part of the book, we're basically following Nick trying to, like, convince everyone that he didn't kill his wife, but it's very ambiguous. Like, honestly, like, we don't even know if he killed his wife, because he's keeping a secret, and we can tell that he's keeping a secret, but we don't know what the secret is. This book was just a lot, because look at the text. Like, this is fucking small. Like, this is tiny text. This took me so long to read, and by the end, I was, like, fucking over it. I gave this 4 stars. I don't have much else to say about it. And then I read, look, no one make fun of me. All right, I wanted to do a video about Kindle Unlimited romance books, because I don't know. I mean, there's so many of them that are popular on TikTok and stuff. And I read this book, and I literally didn't have anything to say about it. Like, I had no thoughts. Nothing, like, pressing. It's The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I read it in 2 days. It's about this guy. And his grandfather dies. And his grandfather ran this theme park called Dreamland, which is basically Disney World. And so the grandfather dies, and this guy takes over the theme park, running the theme park, so that he can get his share of his inheritance, essentially. And the girl, she's like an Imagineer, and she submits this like drunk proposal one night, and then he's like wants to work with her, and then yeah. Look, I don't really have much to say about it. Like here, let me read what I wrote. I am literally just here for something quick and easy. I don't know why I picked this. I just was like, okay, this shit is so out of touch. LOL. This might just mean billionaire romances are not for me, because I hate rich people. But unless this man raises everyone's wages, then I'm not on his side. There was a comment made about being ashamed of being suicidal in the past, which rubbed me the wrong way. Didn't love that. And then I also, like, I've seen people be like, this book is so dark. There's so much trauma in this book. No, bitch. I wrote, you bitches have never read All for the Game, and it shows. Nothing fucking phases me anymore. Yeah, I really don't have much to say about that. After I finished that, I read one of my most anticipated releases of the year, which is I Kiss Shara Wheeler. I love Casey McQuiston. I think that her writing is fucking impeccable. Like, I know a lot of people don't think that. And I know a lot of people get pissed about, like, pop culture references in writing. And I understand that. I think Casey McQuiston is the only author who's allowed to do that. Because they do it so beautifully and wonderfully. And I, like, the way that they do it just adds to, like, the humor of it. In my opinion. I really liked this book. Casey's other 2 books were 5 stars for me. This one was 4.5. This is YA, unlike their previous 2 books, which were, of course, Red, White, and Royal Blue, and One Last Stop. This book is sapphic. We follow our main character. Her name is Chloe. Yes, Chloe. At the start of this book, she's just been kissed by Shara Wheeler, who's like her nemesis, because they're both competing to be valedictorian. And then Shara disappears. And Shara has also kissed 2 other people right before she disappeared. And they're basically going on like this scavenger hunt, finding letters that Shara wrote them. And honestly, it's super interesting and fun to read. It's fast-paced and it kept my attention. So I really just kind of flew through it. But I did see someone tweet something that was like, you know it's a Casey McQuiston book when you don't give a fuck about the main characters, but you would read whole novels about the side characters. And I fully believe that. My favorite character in this book is Smith, who is Shara's boyfriend. I fucking love him. He's the best. This was just really fun to read. I love the way that Casey McQuiston writes her characters. I just think it's beautiful and super fun. This is the Barnes & Noble edition. I also have like the standard edition that I bought from Books Are Magic, which is signed, but it's over on my shelves. I don't want to take it out. And that's it. Those are all the books I read in spring. How many was that? I wasn't counting. Thanks for being here. I love you guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Tell me what you read this spring. Hope you have a great week, guys. And I'll see you soon. We will see you soon. Ah. Say bye, Mango. Bye. Love you guys. Mango, please don't attack the ring light. I'm busy. Oh my god. Mango! Can you come just sit, please? And I didn't have anything to do while I was waiting. Hold on. What the fuck was I saying?